Imagine you're surrounded by a horde of zombies counting your last bullets as they're closing in. Just imagine how terrifying a game like that in VR would be. Well, I decided to make one. Right, so I just got this, which is the MetaQuest headset, and I thought, imagine how cool a zombie game would be in this. I've seen videos of those ages ago, and I thought, that'd be fun. But I don't really want to buy a game. But I make my own game, so why don't I make my very own zombie shooter in VR? Yeah, it's a bad idea, I know. Let me explain to you the idea I have of this game. I want the player to explore the world trying to find weapons and ammo in the environment to fend off zombies and reach the extraction point. And since I want you to be terrified for your life, I want you to have only just enough ammo to survive, forcing you to count each shot as you probably die before getting to the extraction. Since this is my first time making a VR game, it's probably going to be pretty difficult to set up, so I installed Unity's default VR package that contains some really useful features like movement and grabbing objects, which are kind of important. It also came with some weird teleporting features and a vignette that appeared by default when you moved to prevent motion sickness. But where's the fun in that? Motion sickness is part of the VR experience, so I removed it. And in only an hour or so, I have a basic VR environment with some hands where you can pick up and throw objects. You can't have a shooter game without a gun, but I suck at 3D modeling. So, to save time for my early prototype, I decided to use AI. Recently, I learned about this new text to 3D model AI that you can access online at Luma Labs, where you can create things like a hippo military uniform or a Glock, which happens to serve perfectly to be the first weapon we add. I added some code to make it shoot and added this. A magazine. No, the other one. AI kind of struggles with anything with dual meaning or particularly complex, but in a few years that should be improved and I can outsource all the tasks that I'm bad at. I'll just use a cube instead. That's much better. So now you can reload. You also can't have a gun without something to shoot, so I added this. A zombie. Remarkably, you can kill and will just disappear into the aether. And I might have added a few too many. But a zombie that stands still and waits to be shot is kind of useless, so I added AI to make it fly. Apparently. Yeah, I'm sure that's fine. Now we've added this zombie, we need it to be animated. Luckily, there's a site you may have heard of named Mixamo, with hundreds of animations that we can easily apply to any character, like this walking animation for the zombie. Putting it all into the scene, we have this banana man who starts falling into the floor. But wait, I hear you say, a banana man isn't a zombie. No, but I needed it for testing. Luckily, the same site that had the animations also has a bunch of models, so I can just take one of their models of the zombie and just put it into my scene. Now we have a zombie that's capabilities are exclusively walking towards you somewhat menacingly. We need it to actually do something more violent. So now it punches, and if you get hit too many times, you die. And as you die, you hear something. The zombie whispers to you, hey, if you're enjoying the video, please do consider subscribing. I'm currently trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, and every single subscription goes a really long way to helping, so thank you. Right, now that we've got guns and a bunch of zombies, we now need a world. And in a world, you need buildings. And there's actually quite a lot of ways to make buildings. The first method I tried was just modeling the exterior of a house in Blender. Now, while it looks lovely, it also comes with many issues. One, I can't easily create an interior for the house, defeating the whole purpose of the game. And two, I can't change anything without going back to Blender, my modeling program, remodeling the house, importing it back into Unity, and updating the prefab. You've heard of the game Fortnite, right? Well, if you've ever played it, you may have noticed how the world is separated into walls, floors, and roofs, allowing both the player to build, but also allows the developers to quickly create a bunch of buildings to add into the game with full interiors really easily. So if I copy the idea and create my own set of floors, walls, and various other bits and bobs, I get this, my very own tile map. It's significant step up in quality, right? But hey, at least we have an interior, and that's way more than the Blender issue before. Whilst you're admiring this house, you may have noticed that there's something in the scene that wasn't there before. The floor, or more specifically, the ground. To make this, I use Unity's terrain tool that allows me to easily paint a bunch of terrain and texture it. But surely it should be really performance intensive if I'm loading a huge amount of terrain at once? Well, I thought that too, but it seems incredibly well optimized. But who cares? If it's already optimized, let's optimize it further. Basically, in Unity, if you mark an object as static, saying it will never move, you can enable a thing called occlusion and frustum culling. Basically, what culling is it is a way to avoid rendering any unnecessary objects by not rendering any that are obstructed or not in the player's cone of vision. And now the performance may be marginally better, but I think this step was already being done. What? It looks ugly? Well, I'm sure that's not because of the buildings and their brilliant textures, but if you insist, here's some trees. And it looks so much nicer. Hey, me from the future here. I was going to end the video around here, but I realized that the game was lacking something. I was just gonna add some few sprinkles of weapons around the map and add some ammo and then just leave it, and that would have been fine, but I realized that the game was lacking something. After a year of pretty much just doing none of this game and moving on to various projects and getting bored and moving on from them, I came back to it, editing this video, and realized the game still looks ugly. There's this sort of flaw in it, it doesn't look good, and I realized after a while that it was just lacking grass. So I found this asset online from the Unity asset store, which had grass and flowers and stuff, and I put those in the scene and it looked already a lot better. But not only was the ground ugly, the models were ugly. Look at this Glock. I mean, need I say more? So I decided not only will I remodel this into this, and I think that looks a lot better, but I'll also add a rifle. And I made this before with AI, but now I decided to remodel it for this video, and it looks like a rifle. And so finally, I decided to add some guns and some ammo and spread them across the map. And I realized that this old helicopter that I'd worked on before really looked quite ugly. It was one of these AI models, as you could probably tell, but I knew it needed to be better. So to make it fit the game even more, I decided to replace it with this Humvee from devassets.com, from Brackies, if you've heard of in-game dev stuff. Anyway, this looks a lot better, and it fits the game a lot better, and that will be where you have to get to win the game. So, how about we give it a go? And here we are. Finally, after ages, I'm actually in the game again. Okay, I think, well, probably the first thing I should do, if I just duck down, I made that a little bit too small, is probably grab this massive revolver. I didn't really realize that it was this big until I just looked at it now. But anyway, as most of you know, revolvers typically reloaded by just putting a magazine in. I couldn't figure out how to get this thing to work, but it should be fine. Anyway, I say let's go for a walk. There's a zombie over there. I should probably try and avoid him, or alternatively, I think let's just go for it. Oh, I forgot the gun made noise. It's been ages since I made this game. There we go, okay. Oh, there's another? I also forgot how many zombies I added, and it kind of makes sense why this gun makes a lot of noise. Let's go over here, and then let's pick up this rifle, okay. Now look, it's not perfect, this rifle, but it's a rifle and it does a lot more damage, so that's really good. It's actually, we don't have that much ammo, but luckily there should be some in one of these buildings. There might only be one in the building. Oh no, there's more. And I'm out of, oh, I'm completely out of ammo. No. Okay. I need to run away. I need to run away. Luckily he's a bit slow, but
Oh my god, there's another. I actually might get killed if I'm not careful. Oh, no. My skills are so limited.
Also, as you may be noticing, this video has taken a while. It's taken over a year, so if you do enjoy it, please consider subscribing. But also, please leave a comment, as I am working on a video which needs some comments. It's got some cool AI things that I'm currently working on, so if you do that, that would be much appreciated. But anyway, let's continue with the
my back.
the game.
Do I actually have any? That was actually quite fun. I enjoyed that little game that I made. Right, and here we are.